Hello, welcome to Second Watch, your direct line to the second mass. I am your host, Whil Wheaton, and today I am joined by actors Doug Jones and Stephen Collins, and executive producer and director Greg Beeman to discuss tonight's episode, The Pickett Line. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
This is exciting for me because I finally get to, for the first time, introduce you, Doug Jones, normally in the makeup of Cochise,
Yes.
to your co-star and good friend Stephen Collins, who I believe has never seen you out of makeup until right now.
The first time I've seen him with 5 fingers. It's extraordinary.
That's right.
Is it upsetting for you for that particular veil to be thrown back?
I kept waiting on the set to see Doug one day as himself, and it just never happened.
And it should also be said that I'm a skinny person in real life. People meet me with these muscles built out to here, and then they see me on a show like this, like, is he okay?
Yeah.
I'm fine. I've always been skinny. Yeah.
I want to start with you, Greg. Holy crap, Lourdes kills the president.
I know.
Like, that was, I'm good at this. I am good at, like, figuring out where a thing's gonna go. And, like, I think 3 times in my life, I've been completely just thrown, all right? It was Joffrey kills Ned Stark, Boomer shoots the old man on Battlestar Galactica, and this episode of Falling Skies.
Excellent.
Good.
What the hell, man?
As you're supposed to just try to pick the least likely candidate and backfill it from there.
When did you make the decision? Like, I imagine that you, like, did you have like a board, like just a cork board with the different pictures on it, like it's gonna be or it's not gonna be? Were you like moving it around?
Remy and the writers had it figured out before we started production, so I think they kept talking about different people, and there was a lot of different red herrings.
Yeah.
But we knew before we started shooting.
It's great. When did Seychelles find out?
You know, it's funny, Remy and I were on set, and we were shooting the first episode, and we kept wondering whether we should tell her or whether we should keep it a secret. The problem was it was out there, the writers knew, and enough of the crew were starting to know because we had the outlines up ahead. So, and also I think we both felt like we wanted her to infuse it with a little bit of subtle something by knowing. So we told her on day 1 of shooting. She was shocked.
Did any of the other actors know?
After that, then she told them.
She told them. Oh, she couldn't.
I think,
she's
at the
a
bar
terrible
that
mole.
night.
She couldn't keep it secret. That's awful.
That's exciting news, though. You want to share that?
Guess what? Guess what?
I'm the killer.
I'm the secret killer. Act surprised.
Right.
So you get blasted through the floor.
Yeah.
Which, like, just
It
like
hurt.
that's a
Oof, that hurt.
crummy way to go.
It is,
Like-
and of course I was in denial right up to the last minute, thinking
Really?
they're not going
It's
to
not
kill
gonna,
me.
they're not going to kill the
'Cause
president.
then I can't come back.
Right.
So they can't kill me, but
I always wonder, you know, there's a small number of people who have gotten to play the president, okay? And it's kind of a big deal when you get to be the president, right? But you're the president with a whole new kind of foreign diplomacy.
yes.
Like you are dealing with situations in a post-apocalyptic world that you kind of have to just invent, right? So talk a little bit about the creative process of becoming the president in this world.
In some ways, it's I think much simpler because his life as president is so much less complicated. It's about being moved from place to place, trying to stay alive, basically, pretty much all the time, and trying to maintain some modicum of authority over this crazy patchwork quilt that the country now is. I liked that sort of stripped down essential part, and the fact that he has a few Secret Service people, and the fact that you sort of can't be sure of anything. That's what's fun to play as an actor. Is that you're really just out there trying to get through the day and get to the next meal.
Yeah, because like, what is he really the president of?
Exactly, and that's sort of interesting. You realize you're just sort of almost a figurehead at this point. They're trying to keep you alive for reasons that are important to holding some notion of this nation together, and it's not at all like like what it would be like to be the actual president. So in some ways, it's all about just listening to the people around you and going wherever they tell you to go. Somehow, when you're stripped down to the essential of just keeping alive and managing a very few people and forces, it becomes a much less, I think, self-important job.
Yeah.
So I like that. In a way.
You guys have so many scenes together, and I wonder, like, what goes into building the relationship between you two as actors, because we know what the relationship is between your characters, but you're in a suit all the time. So my friend Armin Shimmerman was Quark on Deep Space Nine, and he said that it was very much like Shakespearean mask work, right? And you've done it a lot. I mean, you're probably the best at your job. And what do you do as an actor to bring a character like Cochise to life?
Right. Well, you do have to think like an athlete as well as an actor, because surviving the day is important to me. I'm hotter and heavier than everyone else, but I just prep like any other actor does. I have to know the character and what the relationship is. Steven's brilliant and delicious to work with, by the way. He gives an awful lot, and so that bouncing. And he can't connect with my real eyes, but Cochise's eyes.
How is
we did
that
talk
for
about
you?
that, didn't we?
Because you can't work off of facial.
Well, he told me where to look, and he said, actually, if you want to see me,
My
look,
real
you
eyes
want to
are
relate to me.
vents.
Here.
Can you actually see his eyes through the?
No, you really can't.
Yeah.
So you tend to look at Cochise's eyes.
Yeah.
But you're so there is a sort of Zen thing that you have to do that any actor who works in a costume like that has to just sort of give up and surrender a lot of just moment-to-moment comfort.
So, do you bring that sense of calm to the character just as a means of survival?
I tend to be a calm person anyway, but what I love about Cochise is that it's a part of his species. I think he doesn't have to impress anybody. He kind of knows he's superior, I think.
Yeah.
And yet is very gracious to these humans that he's dealing with. He's been there, done that with this whole situation before.
Yeah.
He brings a lot of knowledge with him, a lot of know-how, a lot of technology. So he doesn't really get overly excited like humans would in the same situation. He's been through this time and time again, and so that's all he's heard about the folklore of his family that's been passed down. The same story again and again.
He has that very calm sort of like alpha pack leader sort of energy, but I just wonder, like, is there anything that would make him just lose it?
Well,
and what would it look like if he were to lose it?
Well, inside the mask it'd be like this. But otherwise, I don't know that we've seen him. I don't think we haven't seen him lose it, and I don't know that he knows how to lose it. That's probably
when he does talk about his training. He talks about this. They're a race of warriors who have been, lived on the ships their whole entire life.
Yeah.
Born and died, with this mission. So I get the feeling that his training is such that it would take a lot for him to lose it.
Yeah, he has his moments of sentiment,
Right.
Which he understands that, but getting overly excited doesn't avail much. And I think he's learned that like doing this and getting angry is counterproductive probably. So he's smart enough and intelligent enough to know when to pick your battles.
But you do radiate an incredible sense of calm on the set. It's amazing. As much as we might as actors joke around a little bit, behind the scenes about the suit and stuff.
Yeah.
There's just an evenness about you, and I think if you didn't have that, nobody could get through the day.
And by the way, let me just compliment Doug, because I've done a lot of visual effects and special effects shows and explosions and creatures, but I've never worked with an actor who had to play a character in a costume like this for the entire time. And there's all these stages that happen, and it's just a rubber suit, and it's a cool design, and he puts it on, and when he's putting it on, it still is a rubber suit. And I personally feel when action is yelled, something happens, and you embody this character comes to life, and it's pretty miraculous. I've had the experience of being like really stunned by the fact that there's now a character here on stage with us.
When you become aware of that, so you're watching dailies and you see that early on, do you decide we're putting more of this in the show? Like, is there a moment where you just think, wow, we can do a lot more with this character than we thought we could?
Well, I think so, yes. And in the episode that preceded last week's episode, there was a very big monologue about the Caterius flower and and how they'd been born and died on the ships, and you were in that episode too. I teared up watching that scene. Like, you brought not humanity, but vulmanity to that moment.
New word. Ding, ding.
We're running up against the clock, so I'm going to go to the lightning round. I've got 3 quick ones for each of you. So, Doug, last time we saw the plane crash, and we don't know what happens off screen between the president and Cochise, but something happens because he comes sort of carrying him up, sort of Creature from the Black Lagoon style. So.
Only nicer.
What do you think happens between these guys in their time when we weren't with them?
Both leaders in our own way,
Yes.
and both understanding each other in that leadership sort of sense. And I think survival absolutely happened, but also a sense of responsibility for the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And me knowing how important this man is to the people that I'm here to help protect. I need to get him back to that camp.
Do you think the president misses the way politics are today? Like, do you think he's like, oh, if I could just have a budget fight?
Yeah, he wouldn't mind the budget fight, but I think he misses the White House chef probably really big.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like in those late dark nights, that's these,
Get me anything I want to
just
eat.
want that chef.
A bottle of it.
I could have flan right now. Exactly. 3 flavors.
Yeah.
We saw that Lourdes was infected. We still don't know how she was infected, which is scary to me because those eye worms could be like, are they airborne?
She had a lot of eye worms too.
Like a lot of eye worms. So do they pass from person to person? Are humans going to have to be dewormed before they can be adopted? Like, this whole future is scary to me. But I'm wondering, like, does this mean that from now on, like going forward in the world of Falling Skies, no one is really safe from being essentially possessed by the Ishveni?
Until they have a technology to really find out if you're infected, yes, nobody is really safe. And you can't really trust anybody.
That's why, man.
It's sad,
Like,
right?
Yeah, like it's not bad enough. Have you seen the show?
I'm sorry.
Like, bad stuff is going on. Why would you do that?
It's tough.
It's fall.
It's tough in the
Look at him. He's like, I love it. I got
Clearly
it.
he loves it.
this reaction at
Yes,
you. Is what he loves. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's great. I loved this episode, you guys. It was really good. This season's been great, but I really love this tonight. And thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me.
Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it. Next time on Second Watch, we will talk to actors Noah Wyle, Jesse Schramm, and Drew Roy. And without spoiling anything, I can tell you that you won't want to miss it. But Whil Wheaton, you're asking yourselves, what can I do until then? I've got you covered. Come right back here to TNTDrama.com for lots of Falling Skies trivia and a look behind the scenes. And until then, keep the resistance strong.